Hi there. I don't know what the weather's like where you're at today, but here in Seattle, it is a glorious, beautiful fall day with blue sky and brilliant colors. And I know for November, that is very unusual because in Seattle, it's pretty gray. We get about 36 inches of rain a year, which isn't too terribly bad, but it is cloudy 226 days of the year. There's a reason why the coffee industry was established here in the Seattle area. And I'm thinking we probably are the ones who consume the most vitamin D capsules as well. We kind of need our fake sunshine to get us through the year. I like my weather in two extremes. I like it black and stormy with thunder and lightning and big splatty rain on the windows, or I like it pleasant and warm with blue skies. Not asking for much. It reminds me of when I was a child in Sunday school. We had the song that we sang. It went like this. When you're up, and when you're down. But when you're only halfway up, you're neither up nor down. And they would keep us in that when you're only halfway up spot for the longest time, and the piano would roll, and all of a sudden they'd go, you're neither up nor down. And I have to be honest with you, I had no idea what that song meant. It's funny the things you look back on as an adult and start realizing, oh, I get it now. They were trying to teach us that we can't live in a situation of indecision. I kind of have the art of indecision down pretty well. I make multiple decisions in a season of an hour while I'm shopping or whatever, and I make the same decision over and over and change my mind. And I know how to make decisions. I just don't know how to make a final decision. I could never be on that show where they say, is that your final answer? Because then it would make me doubt, and I would have to make another decision again. But anyway, we can't live in a position of non-commitment and indecision forever. It got me to thinking about the church in Laodicea. You know, in Revelations chapter 3, Jesus said, I wish that you would either be cold or hot, because if you're lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth. I got to looking into that section of scripture and kind of doing some research on it. And in Laodicea, they didn't have their own water system. They had to pipe in through aqueduct system water from hot springs that was down one direction and cold springs in another. And by the time the water got to them, it was lukewarm and it was foul and diseased. And I'm sure they put that water in their mouth and realized, this is not going to meet the need of thirst. That is for sure. And if anything, it'll make you sick. It's just like in the food industry. The food either needs to be hot or cold. And if it's not one or the other, they will pull it and throw it away at the risk of getting a customer sick and having all the issues that go with that. I like to live in a world of black and white. I don't mean like taking pictures in black and white, but I don't like a lot of gray things in my life. I like to have a decision that is either right or wrong, one or the other. I have a friend on Facebook that posted that they were going to be doing a Bible study with their ladies at church from a book by Jerry Bridges called Respectable Sins, confronting the sins that we tolerate. And that's kind of what got me to thinking along this way. You know, we live in a society where we teach grace, 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 grace versus sin. And I am so thankful for God's grace. I'm so thankful for the amazing grace that He has saved us through. But we can live in a sense of false security with that mindset. That when we live so much that, oh, we're not going to be legalistic because we're covered by grace, that we tend to allow these tolerated, respectable sins into our life. And that makes things murky and gray. And I just like the weather here in Seattle. Come January, February, when it gets all murky and gray and it wears down on you, it weighs down on you. And there's a reason why so many people up here fly south for the winter, just like the birds, because they need a break from it. And I think that we can be like that in our lives with sin, with those respectable, tolerated sins, is they creep in, and next thing you know, we realize we've got this vast area of grayness in our heart that we've allowed in that's neither sin nor sin-free. And I'm reminded of the scripture verse in 1 Peter 1:15 and 16, where it says, but as He who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct, because it is written, "Be holy, for I am holy." I don't believe that God tolerates the sins that our society has come to tolerate. I'm not talking the great big ones that are obvious, like, um, the killing and murdering and adultery and taking someone else's wife and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the ones that are listed over and over again that deal with anger and bitterness and gossip and a lying tongue. And sometimes those become tolerated sins in our society. I encourage you today to take a really close look at your heart and decide if there's gray areas that need to be pushed from one extreme to the other, and try and do a little bit of cleanup in there. It's a beautiful fall day out there with blue sky, and I think it's a good time to do some reevaluating before the winter skies come in and settle in of what is really gray in our heart. What is holy? Be holy, for I am holy.